Once again, from the Polo Grounds, we're all set to go in the second game of this doubleheader. The Cubs won the first game by a score of 12-0. The shutout pitch by Larry Jackson, and now we're all set to go with Jay Hook pitching for the Mets and going for the Chicago Cubs, right-hander Glenn Harvey. Starting lineups for this game. For the Cubs, Lou Brock will lead off and play right field. Ken Hubbs will bat second and play second base. Batting third and playing left field, Billy Williams. Batting fourth, playing third base, Ron Santo. The fifth batter will be Merritt Ranul, and he'll be playing first base. The first time that he has played first base in his major league career. He's normally a catcher. Ernie Banks, who missed the first game because of an operation on Mrs. Banks in Chicago, has returned to the Polo Grounds. He'll be available for duty. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, Andre Rogers. The seventh man will be the center fielder, Don Landrum. Batting eighth and catching, Jim Schaefer. And on the mound, batting in the ninth position, right-hander Glenn Harvey. For the New York Mets, manager Casey Stengel has selected Jimmy Pearsall to lead off and play center field. Ron Hunt will bat second and play second. Batting third, playing right field, Duke Snyder. The fourth batter will be Frank Thomas in left field. Batting fifth and playing first base, Tim Harkness. The sixth batter will be the shortstop, Chico Fernandez. Batting seventh and playing third base, Rod Cannell. And the eighth man will be Norm Sherry, the catcher. Batting ninth, Jay Hook, the pitcher. There go the Mets out on the field. They're looking for the final game in this three-game series. The Cubs have won the first two. They won Tuesday night's game by a score of 5-2, and the first game of this doubleheader, 12-0. Cubs now have a record of 24 wins and 21 losses. They're in fourth place, 4.5 games behind the league-leading San Francisco Giants. The Mets are now 12-9 in the Polo Grounds with their loss in the first game. They have won 17 and lost 30 so far this year. Well, as the Mets take the field, here's a word from Viceroy Cigarettes.
I have this band, and it really swings, and we have this singer who really sings. We just finished playing for a nice bunch of folks when I discovered I was out of smokes. Someone handed me an unfiltered pack. Too harsh for me, I gave it back. And filters, they either taste strong or too thin. Them a cute little singer said,
"Where have you been?" Viceroy tastes the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong.
not too light. Viceroy's got
The taste that's right.
That's right. Well, my singer's still with me, but I got a new band. It's round and it's gold, and it's on my left hand.
That's right.
So now I know, and I'll take all bets. If you smoke all 7 filter cigarettes, you'll find some too strong.
Some too light.
But Viceroy's got
The taste that's right.
That's right.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Well, in case you haven't heard, the 500 at Indianapolis was won by Pernelli Jones. The time for the 500 miles, 143.137 average. Pernelli Jones, the winner of the very famous Indianapolis 500. The umpires for the second game, Ken Burkhardt behind home plate. At first base, Chris Pellicudis. And the third umpire, Frank Walsh, at third base. Jocko Conlon missing the doubleheader here today. He's out because of illness. So it's going to be Jay Hook with a record of 1 win and 5 losses. Jay from Grays Lake, Illinois, born in Waukegan, graduate of Northwestern University. He has a record of 1 and 5. Lifetime against the Cubs, 7 and 3. Lifetime in the major leagues, 26 and 52. Jay, a right-hander, now working to Lou Brock, a 284 batter. Brock, a left-hand batter, and the first pitch of the ball game is bunted foul for strike one. Brock in the first game, and his first time up, tried to beat out a bunt. He was thrown out by third baseman Charlie Neal. Charlie not playing in this game. It's Rod Cannell at third. Rod defending against the possible bunt inside. Brock had a double in 6 times up to extend his batting streak to 13 consecutive games. Now the pitch by Jay back, a curve, a slow one. That's too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brock with 2 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Now the right-hander with a 1-1 delivery. Change of pace outside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Jay Hook, last year, defeated the Cubs on June the 8th and stopped the 17-game losing streak, the longest streak in the history for a New York team. Now Jay back with a fastball that's on the outside corner in the new strike zone for strike 2. Jay even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Final game of this 3-game series. Now at 2-2. And there's a pitch inside. Full count now at 3-2. Tim Harkness at first base. Ron Hunt, the second baseman. Chico Fernandez, the shortstop, and Rod Keneal, the third baseman. The catcher is Norm Sherry, sending the signs to Jay. And the pitch is fouled back in the screen. In the outfield for the Mets, Frank Thomas in left field. He's playing the Sun field. In center field, Jimmy Pearsall. In right field, it's Duke Snyder. The on-deck batter, Kenny Hubbs, and then Billy Williams for the Cubs. Here's the 3-2 pitch again, and there's a little blooper to shallow left field, very shallow. Fernandez makes the catch back on the outfield grass for out number 1. While we wait for Ken Hubbs to come up, we'll pause for station identification.
This is WAV. WGY Schenectady.
From the Polo grounds. 1 out in this second game. Cubs are batting. They won the first game by a score of 12-0. And the batter is Kenny Hubbs, a right-hand batter, and he looks at a fastball for strike 1. Hubbs had a home run, the only home run of the game in the opener, and he also had a base hit, driving in 2 runs. Now he takes a changeup inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. So his 2 hits, raising his average to 280, his home run, his 5th of the year. Curveball, a good one that breaks over. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hubbs looking. Hubbs with his base hit in the 4th inning, an inning which saw the Cubs score 10 runs, extended his consecutive game batting streak to 7 games. Now Jay back with a fastball. It's just a little bit outside and low for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls and 2 strikes. The delivery by Hook is popped up in the air down the first base side. Hubbs moving to first as Ron Hunt moves down the line, and he drops the ball in fair territory. Hubbs going for a third now, and the throw does not come in. It goes into the relay man and by him into home. Ball dropped by Ron Hunt. It's going to be scored a 2-base hit. He was moving down the line, making a 3-base hit. He was moving down the line, had a tough catch to make. The ball bounced off of his glove and rolled into the right field corner. Now, Hunt arguing with first base umpire Chris Pellicudis that the ball was in foul territory. Pellicudis indicating the ball was fair. Now it's Tim Harkness taking it up. Hubbs on at third base, a 3-base hit, the first hit of the game off Jay Hook. And now Hubbs with a base hit, hitting in 8 consecutive ball games. That will bring up Billy Williams. Billy, a left-hand batter. In the first game, he had 2 hits in 5 trips to the plate to raise his average to 283. 4 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Infield being pulled in. Williams, a strong hitter. No score in the game. The Cubs with the first hit. Here's the first pitch, a curve that hangs high and outside for ball 1. Second game of this doubleheader getting underway, and if you're around the area, still plenty of baseball coming your way, and still some seats around here to enjoy the game in person right here with us. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Curve, a swing and a miss on the slow curve ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Williams batting from the left-hand side. The infield pulled in. Mets trying to cut off the run. Now at 1-1, Jay comes in with a fastball. It's just inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's Jay Hook with a 2-1 delivery, and the curveball is looked at. A good one at the knees for strike 2. Jay had a good spring for the Mets this year and then couldn't get off at all in the regular season. He has a record of 1-5. Has been used in the bullpen as of late, but manager Casey Stengel using him as a starting pitch against the Cubs. His record against them 7-3. Now 2-2. He misses with a curveball, a big rolling curveball outside, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. On at third base, Kenny Hubbs. He's there as a result of a bloop triple to right field. And now the windup and the pitch. Curve in the dirt, bounce for ball 4, and Williams gets first base free. Cubs now with runners at first and second, and Ron Santo coming up. Santo had 5 for 6 in the first ball game to raise his batting average to .298. He has 6 home runs and 30 runs batted in. The 30 RBIs topping the Cubs. Santo, a right-hand batter. Infield now drop back. They're looking for the double play. Runners at first and third, and the first pitch by Jay just outside for ball 1, a fastball. At Boston, in the bottom half of the 9th inning, Basu hit his second home run of the game to tie up the game with the Yankees. Going to the 10th inning with the score 5-5. The Yankees have scored a run in the top of the 10th. They now lead 6-5 with Boston batting in the bottom half of the 10th. Batting against Arnold Early, who went in the game in the 8th inning. The Yankees scored 1 run in the top of the 10th inning. Terry still in for the Yankees. He has gone all the way. Now the 1-0 pitch, curve outside, and it's ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. No score, but the Cubs here in the top of the first inning threatening with runners at first and third. Mets have 1 out. Ron Santo in the batter's box, and the pitch by Hook. A curve that's low for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. The on-deck batter is Merritt Ranul. And Jay Hook now only a pitch away from loading up the bases. Al Jackson was the losing pitcher for the Mets in the first game. He worked 3 2/3 innings, giving up 8 runs while allowing 5 hits, striking out 5 and walking 5. When he pitched in the first game, the Cubs won at 12-0, was Larry Jackson. It was his 17th career shutout, his second of the year, and he now has 7 wins and 5 losses. Here's a fastball that's through in the inside corner for strike 1. Ball dropped by Norm Sherry, the catcher, but no advance as the ball bounced right out in front of home plate. So Jay has the first strike, and the count now 3 balls and 1 strike. Ken Burkhardt, the home plate umpire, signaling that the clubhouse door for the Mets be closed out in center field. Jay Hook at 3-1. And he backs off the pitching rubber to move Billy Williams back at first base. Williams could be going on the pitch. Williams with a short lead. He does not go, and the pitch is hit out to center field. Fairly shallow. Pearsall is waiting there. Tagged at third is Ken Hobbs. Here he comes. The throw is cut off by Tim Harkness, and the Cubs have taken the lead by a score of 1-0 here. Holding at first base on the throw-in was Billy Williams. A sacrifice fly for Ron Santo, his 31st run batted in. And the batter now coming up will be Merritt Ranul, who is playing at first base. He's a left-hand batter with a .500 batting average, 13 hits and 26 times to the plate. Merritt Ranul with 1 home run and 6 runs batted in. He was picked up from the Colt 45s this year. Normally a catcher playing at first base. Ernie Banks, who did not play in the first game, is here on the bench for the Chicago Cubs. He was in Chicago earlier today. First pitch to Ranul, a curve high for ball 1. Mrs. Banks being operated on the other day, and Ernie flew to Chicago to see her. She's in the Jackson Park Hospital in Chicago. 1 ball, no strikes. Jay Hook with a runner at first base, and he misses outside with ball 2. Norm Sherry walking out in front of the mound before sending the ball back. Cubs with a triple by Hubbs And the sacrifice fly by Ron Santo lead 1-0 here in the top of the first. The Mets have 2 men out. The 2-0 pitch misses again for ball 3. So Jay falls behind 3-0. And again, it's Norm Sherry out to the mound to talk it over with him. No one up in the bullpen for the Mets. In case you just tuned in and you missed the Indianapolis race, Parnelli Jones won it, averaging 143.137 miles per hour. Here's the final score. The Milwaukee Braves 7, the Los Angeles Dodgers 4. The winning pitcher, Warren Spahn, he needed help from Claude Raymond in the 8th inning. The losing pitcher was Drysdale. A 3-0 pitch swung on by Ranul and fouled away for strike 1. Home runs by Hank Aaron, his 15th of the season, and Jim Gilliam. Dodgers now falling 1/2 game further behind the league-leading San Francisco Giants. Hook goes to first base, but Williams gets back ahead of the tag. Here's a 3-1 pitch to Ranul. It's fouled over on the third base side. Cannell makes a big run, and he makes the catch. Fine play by Rod Cannell as his hat comes off, and he makes the play after a long run right by the stands, and that retires the side. In the inning for the Cubs, 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, a walk and 1 man left, and the score after 1/2 inning of play. The Cubs won, the Mets coming to bat. Well, a fine crowd on hand right here at the Polo Grounds. We'd get somewhere around 35,000. You know, in checking your way around the stands, you notice more and more fans with Viceroy's new slide-top case. It's really great. Crush-proof like a box, but works far easier. It slides right open and slides shut tight, and one finger does it. It's the greatest improvement in cigarette packaging since the flip-open box, and it's exclusive with Viceroy. And only Viceroy's got the taste that's right. What do I mean by the taste that's right? Well, if you smoke all 7 leading filter brands, you'll find some taste too strong. Like the filter wasn't there at all. Others taste too light. They take all the fun and flavor out of smoking. But Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Smoke Viceroy in the exclusive slide-top case or familiar soft pack. You'll like them. Well, the big hand you hear in the background for Jimmy Pearsall as he comes up to bat, the leadoff for the Mets against Glenn Hobby. Incidentally, with the Dodgers losing that game to Milwaukee, they now trail the Giants by 2 full games. The Giants playing a night game tonight against the Cincinnati Reds. Jimmy Pearsall leading off for the Mets. He'll be batting against Glenn Hobby. Hobby with a record of 1 win and 4 losses. Lifetime against the Mets, he is 0-1, and lifetime in the league, 55-70. He's 27 years old from Witt, Illinois. And the right-hander with his first pitch sends a line drive into center field. Coming on, the center fielder, Don Landrum, and he makes the catch. Jimmy Pearsall with a line shot to center field is out on the very first pitch sent up by Glenn Hobby. That ball well tagged. Jimmy in the first ball game had no hits and 2 times out. He was taken out in the 6th inning to be given a rest after the Cubs had taken a commanding 10-0 lead. 1 man out and Ron Hunt comes up. Ron batting .299. He had 1 hit and 3 times up in the first game. He was robbed of a base hit by Lou Brock in right field in the 6th inning of that first game. 1-0 game, the Cubs lead. Mets with 1 out in the bottom half of the first. Pitch by Hobby is outside. It's ball 1. Hobby throwing as though he has a sore arm. He's really pushing the ball to the plate. He's been bothered with arm trouble. Last year was the first time that he had not won 10 games for the Cubs. He comes in with a fastball. It's high for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. He appeared in 42 games for the Cubs last year. He had led the Cubs staff in 58, 59, and 60 in Cub wins. Last year he was 5-14. There's a strike called as he comes back to Hunt on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hobby 6'2", 195. Now back to Hunt, and he misses high for ball 3, and the count moves up to 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. The on-deck batter is Duke Snyder. Ken Burkhardt, the home plate umpire, Chris Pellicudis at first base, and Frank Walsh at third. Now 3-1 in bright sunlight. The pitch comes back to Hunt. He takes it. It's called strike 3. Strike 2, I mean. Hunt was on his way to first base, and the count now fills out at 3-2. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch is hit out to right field. Brock moving to the right, has running room. He's back in the warning track, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Here's the final score. The New York Yankees in 10 innings defeating Boston by a 6-5 score. One time, Boston had a 4-1 lead. Yankees with a run in the top of the 10th to win it. The winning pitcher was Ralph Terry. He is now 6-4. The losing pitcher, Arnold Early, who came in the game in the 8th inning in relief. Basu had 2 home runs. Maris had 1, and Stewart had 1. Here at the Polo Grounds, Duke Snyder steps in. 2 men out. The Cubs lead 1-0. Duke batting .214, 0 for 2 in the first game, and he takes inside for ball 1. On deck batter, Frank Thomas. Duke, a left-hand batter, and the pitch back is popped up in back of home plate, coming over the catcher. He waits now, and he makes the catch. So the catch made by Jim Schaefer to retire the side. And Hobby in the first inning takes the Mets 1-2-3. Score at the end of 1 inning to play. The Cubs won, the New York Mets nothing. Pittsburgh Pirates, playing at Pittsburgh, defeated Philadelphia in the first game 7-1 today. The winning pitcher, Don Cardwell. Losing pitcher, Mahaffey. Lynch a homer in the second inning with no one on. In the second game, the Pirates lead Philadelphia 3-1 after 4 innings of play. Ray Culp going for Philadelphia against Gibbon for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And don't forget that Pittsburgh will be coming to the Polo Grounds for the first time in 1963. They will play tomorrow night, a night game starting at 8 o'clock. Saturday afternoon, a ladies' day game starting at 2 o'clock. And Sunday, a big doubleheader, which also will start at 2 o'clock. Pirates playing for the first time a 4-game series here in the Polo Grounds. It'll be newcomers for the ball club, rookie Bob Bailey. Also, Don Clendenin playing in his second year, 2 bigmen at first and third, and veterans Bob Friend, Vern Law, Harvey Haddix, and Roy Face. Face, one of the greatest relief pitchers in the history of baseball. Tickets for the 4 games available at 3 convenient locations, downtown at Pennsylvania Station and Grand Central Station. Also right here at the Polo Grounds at the advanced reservation window located on the 8th Avenue side. You may make ticket reservations for any of the New York Mets games throughout the year at any of the Howard clothing stores in the metropolitan area. And you may also mail in for your tickets. Simply write Ticket Manager, Polo Grounds, New York, 39 New York. Box seats are $3.50, reserve seats $2.50. Be sure to enclose an additional 25 cents to take care of the mailing charges. Cubs with 1 run in the first inning now coming to bat against Jay Hook in the second. Game 1-0. And the first man will be Andre Rogers. Jay misses with his first pitch for ball 1. In case you just tuned in, the Cubs won the first game 12-0, and they have scored the first run of this game in the first inning on a triple and a sacrifice fly. Triple by Kenny Hubbs, a sacrifice fly by Ron Santo. Pitch back to the plate is low, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Jay Hook, a right-hander, looking for his second win. He's lost 5, and here's the 2-0 pitch. Hard ground ball to third. Rod Keneal, a good play. Crossed a good shift, and the out is made. Tim Harkness shifting across the bag into foul territory to take the play, and there's out number 1. So Rod Keneal retiring the last 2 men. A fine play on Merritt Ranul in foul territory, and then a good play right here on Andre Rogers. And the batter now is Don Landrum. Rogers batting .221 before the out. Landrum, a left-hand batter, takes a fastball for strike 1. He's batting .193. No home runs and no runs batted in. 1-0 score, the Cubs lead. And there's a fly ball hit the left field. Thomas moving back easily. And he makes the catch for out number 2. That will bring up Jim Schaefer. Jim, a .229 batter with 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. Batting from the right-hand side. Cubs 1 run on 1 hit. Mets no runs and no hits. 2 men out here in the top of the second. Slow curveball by Jay Hook, hanging high. 1 ball and no strikes. Now the pitch back finds a strike called in the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. The White Sox defeated Cleveland today, 8-4. The winning pitcher was Fisher in relief. The losing pitcher, Walker, in relief. Hansen a home run in the 6th inning with no one on. Change of pace, it's outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. So 3 games in the American League. Yankees winning 6-5 in 10 innings. White Sox winning 8-4 in 9. And Minnesota winning 3-2 in 9. Pitch back to Schaefer is outside. A slider, 3 balls and 1 strike. The National League, Pittsburgh defeated Philadelphia 7-1, Milwaukee 7-4 over L.A., and St. Louis 9-5 over Houston. All those games already in. Now at 3-1, a change of pace hit off the end of the bat. A real spinner down to first base, taken by Harkness on 1 hop, and he makes the play unassisted. So Jay Hook in the top of the second goes 1-2-3, and the score at the end, 1.5 innings of play. The Cubs 1, the New York Mets nothing. Well, you know, you've heard a lot about ball player superstitions, but it seems to me that fans have just about as many. I have a friend that only lights up a cigarette when his team comes to bat. Another smokes only during the odd-numbered innings. Well, whenever you smoke, while you're enjoying the game, here's the way you can enjoy each cigarette more. Just make it a Viceroy, because Viceroy tastes the way you'd like a filter cigarette to taste. Not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right, and you can count on it. You smoke all 7 leading filter brands, you'll find some taste too strong, just like the unfiltered kind, and some taste too light. They filter all the fun and flavor out of smoking. The Viceroy's not too strong, not too light. Viceroy's got the taste that's right. So next time, buy a carton of Viceroy in the familiar soft pack or new slide top case. Either way, fans, Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Bottom half of the second inning, the Mets looking for their first score of the day. They were shut out by Larry Jackson in the first game 12-0. The Mets had a real threat going in the bottom half of the 9th inning. They had runners at first and third and no one out, but Jackson came through with 2 strikeouts and a ground out. Preserve his 17th Major League shutout. So far, in this game, the Mets have been retired 1-2-3. Jimmy Pearsall in the first inning lined to center, a real smash, but caught by Landrum. Ron Hunt flied out to right, and Duke Snyder fouled out to the catcher. Here's Frank Thomas. Frank batting 196 to lead off here in the bottom half of the second. And the first pitch by Glenn Hobby is a curveball lined on the left field line, but foul. Ball curving foul. Frank going for the outside curve, pulling the ball just a little bit too much. Strike 1. Frank with 3 home runs and 10 runs batted in. Last year with 34 home runs. Mets playing in their 48th ball game. Now Hobby back to Thomas, and the pitch is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Frank Thomas, Tim Harkness, and Chico Fernandez against the right-hander. And the fastball is hit off the fist into left field. Going back is Andre Rogers. An easy chance as he turns it in for out number 1. Thomas jammed with a fastball high and tight, hitting a soft fly ball into shallow left field. Rogers going out about 30 feet in the grass to make the play. Here's Tim Harkness, the hitting hero for the Mets in the first ball game. Tim had 3 for 3 in a walk against Larry Jackson, who gave up only 6 hits. And the first pitch to the left-hand batter is a called strike, a curveball over. Tim raising his average to 276. That is second on the Mets regular list. Ron Hunt leads the regulars with 297. Now the 1-strike pitch. It's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs have 1 run on 1 hit, a triple and a sacrifice fly. The Mets have no runs, and they have yet to pick up a base hit off Glenn Hobby. Now at 1-1, the ball hit on the ground to the second baseman, Kenny Hutt. The throw to first is in time for out number 2. That will bring up Chico Fernandez. Chico batted 2 times in the first ball game. He came in the game in place of Al Moran, who was 0 for 2. That dropped his average to .205. He has 1 home run and 5 runs batted in. Chico, a right-hand batter with a closed stance. And the first pitch is a slider that knocks him down for ball 1. A little tough to see right now at the plate. Halfway from the pitcher's mound to home plate, the sunlight stops and the shadow starts, so the ball comes out of bright sunlight into dark shadow, and that's a little bit tough to follow. Also making the hitting real tough, real bright sunlight in center field, so the background is very glary. It's the pitcher's way right now. 1 ball and no strikes as Hobby comes back with a curve, a swing and a miss. Count now 1-1. Hobby back to work. And the next pitch is pulled foul. While we wait for a new ball to be put in play, we'll pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady, 810 on your dial. The time is 5:28. The temperature is 74 degrees.
Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from the Polo Grounds. The score 1-0. The Cubs lead. The Mets batting in the bottom half of the second inning. Here's the pitch back to Fernandez. A swing and a miss for strike 3, and that retires the side. So Glenn Hobby has pitched the 6 men and retired them all with not too much trouble, picking up his first strikeout for out number 3 here in the second inning. And the score at the end of 2, the Cubs 1, New York Mets 0. On a recent road trip, we got a chance to hear the Mets' new official song played in Los Angeles and St. Louis by the local musicians there, and it was quite a thrill to hear it there. But I'm sure you've heard the new official song right here at the Polo Grounds. It's called Meet the Mets, and if you've been listening to our broadcasts and telecasts, you must have heard it because it's played before each game as well as before all Mets home games. This catchy tune is now available in 45 RPM recordings. There's a vocal on one side and an instrumental version on the other side. To obtain your copy of the record, Meet the Mets, send $1 to Mets Official Song, Polo Grounds, New York 39, New York. While we wait for Jay Hook to work here in the third, let's take a quick look at the scores. Pittsburgh 7, Philadelphia 1 in the first game. In the second game, Pittsburgh 3, Philadelphia 1 after 4. Milwaukee 7, Los Angeles 4 in the single game played in Milwaukee. St. Louis 9, Houston 5 in a single game played at St. Louis. San Francisco scheduled at Cincinnati. The American League, New York 6, Boston 5 in 10 innings. That's a single game. At Kansas City, the Athletics lead Baltimore by a 7-2 score after 7. Chicago defeated Cleveland 8-4. That's the first of 2. And Minnesota knocked off Washington 3-2. Also scheduled in the American League and playing now out on the coast, Los Angeles 0, Detroit 1 after 3 innings of play. The only run scored, a home run by Wood. Right now we move along to the top of the third, and the first man up against Jay Hook is the pitcher Glenn Hobby. Glenn has 2 hits and 13 times up, a 154 average. And Hook comes back with a curveball. Again, a swing and a miss for strike 2. Hobby, a right-hand batter, batting 154. Here's Jay at 2 strikes. And he bounces a curve in the dirt. It's swung on and missed, picked up by Norm Sherry. He tags the pitcher, and that is out number 1 here in the third. First strikeout for Jay Hook, and it brings up Lou Brock. Jay in one game this year had 10 strikeouts. That's the club record. Last year, Jay also struck out 10 in one game. Lou Brock, a left-hand batter, and he bounces the first pitch right back to the mound. A one-hopper. Jay picks it up and throws to first, and Brock, who had a 13-game consecutive batting streak going, is out for the second time in this game. Jay now with 7 in a row. Trailing 1-0. He gave up a triple, a walk, and a sacrifice fly in the first inning for the only run of the game. Now pitching to Kenny Hubbs, the man who tripled. Hubbs tries to bunt, misses for strike one. Rod Cadell playing a deep third base. Hubbs had a real good chance there. With 2 men out, Cadell figuring that Hubbs would not be bunting, which is a good way to figure. Takes a lot of base hits to score runs with 2 men out. Now at 1 strike, Jay misses, the ball going back off the glove of Norm Sherry. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. Kenny Hubbs batting at 285, and a curveball is just inside for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Now Hubbs swings at the next pitch and hits a high fly ball to shallow center field. Coming in is Pearsall calling, and he makes the catch to retire the side. So for the second time in 3 innings, Jay Hook has worked 1, 2, 3. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings of play, the Cubs won, and New York Mets, nothing. Well, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Yes, sir. And that's the song that tops on the hit parade in New York again this summer. Seems like it always is, just like Rheingold is always New York's favorite beer. Year after year after year. Why? Because people like a dry beer best. Dry beer is naturally more refreshing. And Rheingold is the extra dry beer. Extra dry for the extra refreshment, the bright, clean taste that people want in a glass of beer and get every time that they order Rheingold. So why don't you give Rheingold a try? Order up or pour yourself a refreshing glass of Rheingold Extra Dry. Chances are you'll join the millions of people who sing out for Rheingold and say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. It's beer as beer should taste. Mets coming to bat here in the bottom half of the third. They trail 1-0. They lost the first game 12-0. So they're looking for their first run against the Cubs here in this doubleheader in 11 innings. Larry Jackson pitching the shutout for the Cubs in the first game, a 6-hitter. It's going to be Rod Cadell batting in the 7th position in the batting order. He'll be followed by Norm Sherry and then Jay Huck. So far, Glenn Hobby has worked the 6 men, getting them all. And the first pitch from the right-hander is a curveball over for strike 1. Hobby was acquired by the Cubs in a cash purchase from Memphis in the Southern Association. He had won 15 and lost 15 that year. That was in 1957. Pitch back to Cadell. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Rod, the right-hand batter, taking inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1960, Hobby won 16 games, but he led the National League in losses with 20. 1961, he had a strained back. He was 7-13 that year. Now 2-1. Cadell bounces the ball down to the shortstop. Rogers goes to his left. One hands the ball. Throws to first base for out number 1. 6-3. And that is 7 in a row for Glenn Hobby. It brings up Norm Sherry. Norm in the throes of a real big batting slump. He has gone 28 times at bat without a base hit, dropping his average to .086. He is at 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. Right-hand batter in the first pitch. Curveball looked at, strike 1. One nothing game. The Cubs lead. 1 out in the bottom half of the third. Hobby back with a high curve. Took something off of that one. Again, it's taken. It's strike 2. Cubs had 15 hits in the first game. They have 1 here in the second for a total of 16. The Mets have 6 for 2. There's a fastball spotted outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No hits here against Glenn Hobby. He has pitched to 7 men, picking them all up. The hardest ball hit was Jimmy Pearsall. as he led off in the first. He had a line shot to center field, almost handcuffing Don Landrum. Curveball, a check in time, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Norm Sherry. Glenn Hobby shaking no, finally taking the sign, and here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball hit through the middle. It could be a base hit, and there it is. Norm Sherry getting the first hit off Glenn Hobby here in the third inning with 1 man out, and that base hit for Norm, his first hit in 29 trips to the plate. That will bring up Jay Hook. Jay, a left-hand batter, is batting 200, 3 for 15. Hook won a game, his only game, when he doubled in the 9th inning, and that proved to be the winning run when a pinch runner scored for him. And Jay looks at a fastball outside, ball 1. Ron Santo, the third baseman, right on top of Jay as that pitch was made. He couldn't have been more than about 40 feet away. 1 man out. Cubs looking for Jay to bunt, to move the tying run on down to second base and give Jimmy Pearsall a chance to bat. Santo again creeping in. Here's the pitch. And Jay takes high for ball 2. Two balls and no strikes. And Jay looks again. It's ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Got a young group of boys marching through the stands, one with a base, beating it in cadence, and about 6 behind, some with bugles, others with megaphone. And they're going through saying, let's go, Mets. There's 3-0, and it's inside. Ball. No, it isn't. On the inside corner. Strike 1 call. Jay jumped away, and we got a late call from Ken Burkhardt. You can possibly hear that drum in the background. Now 3-1. Hobby back to Jay Hook. Norm Sherry in first, and a fastball is right through there to move the count along to 3-2. Three balls and 2 strikes. The on-deck batter is Jimmy Pearsall. Norm Sherry at first base. And now Hobby set. Sherry does not go, and the pitch is bounced to short. A chance for a double play. Rogers over to Hobbs. Hobbs to first base in time for a double play to retire the side. In the inning for the Mets, no runs on 1 hit. No errors, and no one left on. And the score at the end of 3 innings of play. The Cubs won. The New York Mets, nothing. Well, after the Pirates play 4 here this weekend, the Milwaukee Braves will be coming into town Tuesday night, June the 4th. They'll play Wednesday afternoon, June the 5th, and if you recall, it was the Milwaukee Braves, the hottest club in the National League, who came in here the last time with a 7-game streak, and the Mets took 4 in a row for their biggest thrill. After the Braves, it will be the Cardinals Friday night, June the 7th, Saturday afternoon, June 8th, which will be Ladies' Day. All ladies admitted to the ballpark for 50 cents. And then Sunday, a doubleheader with the St. Louis Cardinals. And I guess we've been saying this a long time, but you never know with Stan Musial. It could be his last year in the Major Leagues. Stan now with 8 home runs in the 1963 season. Stan had a home run this Memorial Day. It was his 471st. 2 men were on. It helped the St. Louis Cardinals to a 9-5 win over Houston. So baseball coming your way this weekend, and coming right up here now your way to bring you the play-by-play. Here is Bob Murphy.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Billy Williams will lead off for Chicago as we go to the 4th inning. 1-0, Chicago out in front. Pittsburgh beat Philadelphia 7-1 behind Cardwell. They'll pitch down Swall against the Mets here in the Polo Grounds tomorrow night. However, in the second game, the Phillies lead 5-3 after 4.5. The Braves beat the Dodgers 7-4 as the old pro Warren Spahn won his 7th of the year. He now has 334 lifetime wins. Don Drysdale was the loser. St. Louis Cardinals beat Houston 9-5. Ray Sadecki, the winner, and Turk Farrell, the loser. Another great old pro, Stan Musial, hit a 3-run homer in that game. For Stan the Man, his 8th of the year. Ralph Terry all the way to win his 6th game of the year as the Yankees came from behind. Saw the game tied and then won in the 10th from the Red Sox 6-5. Kansas City leading Baltimore 7-2 at the end of 8 innings. Chicago down Cleveland 8-4 in the first game. Barry Latman against Gary Peters in the second game. Minnesota beat Washington 3-2. They started their game at 11 in the morning. And the Detroit Tigers lead Los Angeles 1-0 after 3.5. Now here we go in the 4th inning, and the pitch to Billy Williams has taken ball 1. They have x-rayed the left ankle of Al Moran, and the x-rays are negative. Next pitch by Jay, a swing and a miss on a slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jay Hook up against the heart of the Cubs batting order here in the 4th inning. Ground ball whacked hard toward the hole, taken by Harkness. He throws to Hook in time. That was a sparkler by Tim Harkness going off to his glove side to play a real tough hop on a hard-hit ground ball toward the hole on the right side of the infield. 1 away and nobody on. The hitter is Ron Santo. He's 5 for 5 in his last official 5 times at bat, although he was retired on the sacrifice fly in the first inning. Ball 1, outside and low. While he was hitting in the opening ball game, Al Moran had a ball come off his bat and strike him on the ankle. X-rays were taken, and the X-rays are negative, meaning that nothing was broken. Fastball over, a call strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. The first game today was 0-0 at the end of 3, and the roof came tumbling down in the 4th inning. Cubs batted about 48 minutes, spent 16 minutes at the plate, and scored 10 runs. Curve outside and low, 2 balls and a strike. I'll tell you, the crowd has had quite a time. Naturally, they would have had a better time had the Mets been able to win the opening ball game, but their enthusiasm has not been dampened. Off the outside corner, ball 3, 3-1 on Ron Santo. Three and 1 the count. Merritt Ranul is on deck, and then Andy Rogers. Now Hook over the head, the 3-1 delivery. Foul ball back upstairs and out of play. It's 3-2. Mets have the infield back and straight away against right-hand batter Ron Santo. Jimmy Pearsall straight away in center field. Now Hook with a payoff pitch to Santo, and he pops the ball up. An infield pop fly on the left side of the diamond. On the skin of the infield path, Fernandez makes the catch, 2 down. 2 outs and nobody on. That brings up Merritt Ranul playing first base. He fouled out to Rod Canillo. Rod made a fine play to grab the foul ball right over against the field box railing. Merritt Ranul, he was with Houston last year. Takes high, it's ball 1. He's a left-hand hitter. 13 for 27. He's hitting at .481. He was acquired just before things got going in a swap involving Danny Murphy. Next pitch on the way. Fastball in for a call strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets figuring Ranul as a pull hitter. They play him around to right. He lays off the curve outside. 2 balls and a strike. Now Jay looking in to Norm Sherry to get his sign. The 2-1 pitch. A let-up hit foul. That'll go to the upper deck, but it's a foul ball all the way. Even count now, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Merritt Ranul. Cubs 1 run, 1 hit, and no errors. New York, no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. Breaking ball inside and low. Now the count is full, 3-2. Merritt Ranul is the catcher by trade. Now Jay toes the pitching slab. It's 3-2, 2 outs, nobody on. Hammered foul, another changeup. He threw it on 3-2, and Ranul was way out in front. Last year, Merritt Ranul was in 71 games at Houston and another 37 at their top farm club at Oklahoma City. Ground ball hit down to Harkness, knocked down by Harkness. He'll have to hurry. Throws the hook to side to side. Ball took kind of a tricky hop on Harkness, hit him in the chest, and he had to scramble and then throw the hook to get him. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. At the end of 3.5 innings to score, the Cubs won, and the New York Mets, nothing. Let's listen now to an old favorite brought up to date.
Rheingold Extra Dry Beer is the name of my beer. Brisk and bright, refreshing brew. Rheingold flavors clean clear through. It's not sweet or bitter. That's why folks consider Rheingold is the beer to buy. And Dry will tell you why.
Rheingold Extra Dry has friends by the millions because it's beer as beer should taste. Brisk, bright, and clean clear through. Dry tells you why.
Slowly aids for flavor. Rheingold's taste you'll savor. Here is beer as beer should taste. That's the reason to make haste. Next time you're out shopping in a tavern popping, why not sing out clear and high? Rheingold Extra Dry. My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. It's not bitter, not sweet. It's a dry flavored treat. Won't you try Extra Dry Rheingold beer?
Last of the 4th inning now with Jimmy Pearsall leading off against Glenn Hobby. Curve is over, a call strike. Jimmy hit the ball hard his first time up. He lined out to the center fielder, Don Landrum. Now Glenn Hobby looking in, takes his sign. Semi-low wind-up type delivery. Fastball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's all over in Kansas City. The A's have beaten the Orioles for the 2nd straight game, winning 7-2. A fly ball to right field, fairly deep. Drifting back goes Lou Brock. He's under it waiting and makes the catch for the out. 1 away, nobody on. The hitter will be Ron Hunt. Kansas City in 11 innings snapped the Orioles' winning streak last night, and they win again today, 7-2. Ed Rocco, the ace of the Kansas City mound staff, winning his 6th game of the year against 2 losses. John Wyatt relieved in the 7th. And Steve Barber was the loser. Barber now has won 8 and lost 4. Stock in the 6th inning and Stone in the 8th inning. Ed Charles hit a 2-run homer in the 6th inning. Now Ron Hunt waiting. Ron 0 for 1. Bluffs with a bunt and takes the pitch over. Calls strike 1. Ron hit the ball hard every time up in the opening game today, but had to settle for 1 hit. He had 1 extra base hit taken away from him when Lou Brock climbed the right field wall to make a spectacular grab. Now Hobby winding. Down comes his pitch. Bounced foul off the plate back toward the dugout. One thing you can never say about the Mets fans, you can never accuse them of not being optimistic. Bunch of young fans of the New York Mets parading in the upper deck with a banner that says, Roger Craig to start against the Yankees in the series in October. Now the pitch on the way. He had him tied up. It's strike 3 call. That's the 2nd strikeout for blonde Glenn Hobby, and it brings up Duke Snyder. The only run of the game crossed the plate in the 1st inning, and it was a somewhat tainted run. Fly ball hit down the right field line by Kenny Hubbs, broke off the glove of Ron Hunt, and after it broke off his glove, it hit his leg and went on down into the corner and went for a 3-base hit. He then scored on a sacrifice fly. Pitch thrown to Snyder. Curve is low. 1 ball and no strikes. You know, millions say my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. How about you? Right now, why not open up or order up a Rheingold Extra Dry? Next pitcher on the way to Snyder. He lays off and it's high. Ball 2-0. Cubs lead 1-0. Mets sitting in their half of the fourth inning. Sally Hemus pacing up and down on the lines at first base, hoping to get some work to do. Now the 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball over a strike, 2-1. Night game tomorrow night as the New York Mets entertain Pittsburgh in the first of a 4-game series. Pitching 2-1. A line drive hit down the right field line. If it stays there, it's gone. Tie game. The game with his 8th home run of the year, a line drive into the lower grandstand in right. Duke now has 397 Major League home runs. Frank Thomas up against Glenn Hobby. Game tied 1-1. Pitched by Hobby, a fastball in the corner for a strike. So just 3 more for Duke Snyder, and he joins a very, very select company. He will become the 9th man in the history of the game to hit 400 or more. Swing and a miss on a slider, strike 2. Mickey Mantle was the 7th man, Eddie Matthews the 8th, and Duke Snyder needs just 3 more to become the 9th. 2-strike delivery, a ground ball, base hit, going through the hole to left field. Throw to first as they try to get Thomas hurrying back to the bag after turning on the base hit. Not in time. And now Tim Harkness comes on to hit. Big crowd really given its first big opportunity to release its emotions throughout the afternoon, and they are making the most of it. Frank Thomas getting a 2-out, 2-strike base hit through the hole into left field. Now Harkness facing Hobby. Kim 0 for 1 was thrown out by Hubbs his first time up. There's the pitch on the way. A high fly to center field. It's way back there. Back goes Landrum on the warning track to take it for the out. He caught that ball on the warning track about 3 feet from the right center field bleachers. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on. Now 4 innings complete. The score, the Mets won and the Cubs won. And Snyder gets a standing ovation as he goes to right field. In other games, Pittsburgh won the opener from Philadelphia 7-1, Cardwell all the way. In the nightcap, Philadelphia 6, Pittsburgh 4 at the end of 5 1/2. Cliffstein relieved Culp for Philadelphia, and Sisk replaced Gibbon for Pittsburgh. Pirates are here tomorrow night, starting a 4-game weekend series. Warren Spahn won his 7th game as the Braves beat the Dodgers 7-4. Drysdale was the loser. Henry Aaron hit his 15th home run, and Junior Gilliam hit 1. St. Louis beat Houston 9-5. Sadecki winning over Farrell. Musial his 8th homer, and career-wise, number 471. San Francisco at Cincinnati tonight. In the American League, Ralph Terry went the route. The Yankees came from behind to tie the game, saw the game tied, then won it in the 10th inning 6-5. Dick Stewart hit 1 home run, and Eddie Pursued 2. Roger Maris won for the Yankees. Kansas City made it 2 straight over Baltimore, 7-2. Rocco besting Barber. The White Sox won the opener from Cleveland, 8-4. Eddie Fisher, the winner in relief of Pizarro, and Jerry Walker, the loser in relief. In the second game, Barry Lapman against Gary Peters. They're just underway. Cleveland scoreless in the first inning. Minnesota down to Washington 3-2. Pass ball over Tom Cheney. And at the end of 4 1/2, the Tigers lead the Angels 1-0 on a home run by Jake Wood. That's Hank Aguirre pitching against Bob Turley. Now the 5th inning here in the Polo Grounds, and Andy Rogers takes the pitch by Jay Hook for a strike. Don Landrum on deck, and then Jim Schaefer. Off the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Right now on the year, the Mets and Cubs are even. Each team has taken 2. Mets won 2 in Chicago, and the Cubs have taken 2 here in New York. Now Jay over the head, the 1-1 pitch. Curve outside and low. 2 balls and a strike. New York, 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. Chicago, 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. Now Hook crank it up. The 2-1 pitch, a foul ball back into the screen. Count 2-2 on Andy Rogers. The pitch to him is swung and missed. He struck him out. That's number 2 for Jay Hook, and it brings on the center fielder, Don Landrum. Landrum, a left-hand hitter. Starts him off with a curve, but it breaks outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Rod Keneal playing in close at third to guard against the left-hand batter, Don Landrum. Ron Hunt on the rim of the outfield grass on the right side of the diamond. Fastball over at the knees, a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets tying the game in the 4th inning on the 8th home run of the year by Duke Snider. The 1-1 delivery. Swing and a miss on a curve. Strike 2. Now Jay Hook checking with Norm Sherry. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Just missed. Sherry thought he might have had it, and the count is even at 2-2. 1 away, nobody on. Top of the 5th inning. Nightcap of the Twin Bill. Cubs won the opener 12-0. They scored 10 of their 12 in 1 inning, the 4th. Pitching 2-2. Foul ball. High in the air, back toward the roof and out of play. Now Jay checks in, winds and pitches. 2 high, it's ball 3. And we have a full count on Don Landrum at 3-2. Last year, Don Landrum had a good year. He had a composite batting average of .286. Combining the work he did with the Cardinals, 32 games and 83 with the Chicago Cubs. Pitching 3-2. Ground ball hit down toward Harkness. He makes the play. He'll make the play unassisted in time to get Landrum 2 down. 2 outs and nobody on. That'll bring up the catcher, Jim Schaefer, acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals. He caught 70 games with St. Louis last year, or was in all or either a part of the game 70 times. Now Hook winding, pitch on the way, outside and low, it's ball 1. Batter on the upper deck says Forrest Hills loves the New York Mets, and the fellow was so artistic that in the word loves, he made the O into a red heart. Now Hook cranks up the pitch to Schaefer, a beautiful curve that's over, a strike call. That looked like it rolled off the end of a table. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jim Schaefer. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to Harkness his first time at bat. Fouled right straight back into the upper deck. No play in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now Jay checks with Sherry. 1-2 to count on Jim Schaefer. Game tied 1-1, top half of the 5th inning as Hook winds. Now the arm comes down, just misses the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jay has given up 1 run, and it was slightly tainted. 1 hit, walked only 1, struck out 2. Pitching 2-2. Curve in the dirt, and the string is out 3-2. Full count on Jim Schaefer, batting number 8 in the order. The payoff pitch to him. Strike 3 call. The curve is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on. So we've come halfway. Hook has now retired 14 straight hitters. At the end of 4 1/2, the score, Mets won and the Cubs won. Well, let's try to keep you on your toes now with another Ranul riddle. Runners on first and second. The batter singles into left field. Now the first runner rounds third, but is caught in a rundown. Now the catcher throws wildly into left field. But now the runner trips and falls before crossing home plate. This is going to be a Lulu. The second runner comes along, helps him to his feet, and across the plate. What would you rule? Well, do both runners score, or is the second runner out for helping the first? Think about it. Well, they're both safe. It's perfectly legal for one runner to help another. It's only when a coach or a non-runner helps that the play is illegal. And after that Ranul riddle, how about a glass of Ranul Extra Dry? Now here's a beer as beer should taste. Brisk and bright and clean clear through. Yes, sir, Ranul beer is so refreshing that the first glass just sort of invites you to have another. You find that out for yourself, won't you? Enjoy Ranul Extra Dry along with us. Now, Chico Fernandez leads off in the last half of the 5th inning, facing veteran right-hander Glenn Hobby. Chico 0 for 1 was struck out his first time up. Curve is over, strike 1 call. Mets tied the game on Snyder's line drive into the right field grandstand seats. Thomas followed with a single, but Harkness fly deep to center. And it was really deep to center. The ball was caught on the warning track. No wind-up pitch by Hobby. A grounder hit down to third. Fair ball fielded by Sano. The long peg in time for the out. Now before Rod Keneal comes on to hit, let's pause for station identification.
This is WGY Schenectady 810 on your dial, where the time is 7 minutes past 6 o'clock. The temperature is 73 degrees.
Rod Keneal, the hitter, facing right-hander Glenn Hobby. Game tied 1-1, last of the 5th inning. Hobby swings back. Down comes the arm, and it's popped up on the right side of the diamond. Calling for it is Ranul, the first baseman. He takes it in very short right field near the line. 2 up and 2 set aside by Hobby, and that'll bring on Norm Sherry. Norm singled to center in the 3rd inning with 1 man out, and that was the first hit off Glenn Hobby. We haven't received an official crowd figure, but I would estimate 35,000 or more on Memorial Day here in the Polo Ground. Jay Hook occupying the on-deck circle. 2 outs and nobody on as Norm Sherry hits now against Glenn Hobby. Hobby winding, his pitch thrown as a breaking ball is fouled off. Barely got a piece of it off the big end of the bat. It rolls on the ground straight back. Now the lights are being turned on for the first time all day long. We still have a lot of daylight remaining. Thanks to good old daylight savings time. In comes the pitch to Norm Sherry. He holds up and it breaks outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. On this homestand, the Mets will open a series tomorrow night with Pittsburgh, a 4-game series, a doubleheader on Sunday. Play the Yankees in the benefit game on Monday night. Then the Braves come in Tuesday night and Wednesday, and then the Cardinals next weekend. Hit hard in the air to right field. Brock is going to be under it. Waiting, makes the catch for the out. Sherry hitting the ball to the opposite field is taken by Lou Brock, and the Mets are out in order in their half of the 5th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. Here are the 5-inning totals. Chicago, 1 run, 1 hit, and no errors. New York, 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors. Say, do you know what month this is? Well, you have to think quickly because tomorrow it may change on us, but right now it's May, all right. And more than that, it's National Tavern Month. This is the month that the brewing industry salutes tavern owners for their part in making beer truly our national beverage. And so the people at Liebman Breweries would like to take this opportunity to extend their best wishes to the thousands of taverns in the New York area who serve you refreshing Rheingold Extra Dry. You know, they'll tell you that Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. They know that Rheingold is brewed the long, slow, costlier way. Brewed extra dry for a taste that's extra refreshing. So why don't you visit your neighborhood tavern and celebrate National Tavern Month with a glass or two of cold, refreshing Rheingold Extra Dry. So tomorrow, then, will be the last day of National Tavern Month. Now the Cubs will have Glenn Hobby facing Jay Hook as the game goes to the sixth inning. Bob Kennedy and the Bruins will go to Philadelphia to open a series against Gene Mock's Phillies, while the New York Mets will be up against Pittsburgh tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, the first time that the Bucks have been in town this year. When the Mets played Pittsburgh out in Forbes Field, they were mighty impressed with Don Clendenin, the first baseman, and Bob Bailey, the rookie third baseman, who got about $175,000 to sign. Now the pitch on the way. Inside of the letters, 1 ball and no strikes. Hobby 0 for 1. Hook struck him out in the third inning. Now Jay looks in to check with Norm Sherry. Fastball over for a called strike. Over at the knees for a call strike, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The paid attendance for this Memorial Day doubleheader, a whale of a crowd, 37,170. Outside and low, 2 balls and 2 strikes down to Glenn Hobby. The total crowd in the park's at 37,860. So the new breed, the fans of the New York Mets continue to turn out in wonderful numbers to support their ball club. Now the 2-2 pitch is swung and missed, strike 3. That is the 4th strikeout for Jay Hook, and it brings up the right fielder, Lou Brock. Brock 0 for 2 has popped to the shortstop, Fernandez, and been thrown out by Jay Hook. Now Jay over the hit. Down comes the arm. He runs up as if to drag a bunt. Lays off, and it's over. Strike 1 call. Rod Keneal playing in practically on top of Lou Brock, who has been threatening to lay that ball down all day long. He tried so in the first time up in the opening game, and Charlie Neal threw him out. Curve in the dirt. He started to go, then thought better of it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last year's Memorial Day crowd was a larger crowd, but the Giants were in town. Foul back upstairs and out of play. Well, the Dodgers, beg your pardon. Dodgers and Giants came in for 5 days running there, and in the 5 days, over 200,000 were in the Polo Grounds. Even count now, 2-2. Dodgers came in first. They made their first visit on Memorial Day. Then the Giants followed the Dodgers in town. Pitching 2-2. A high fly to deep center field. Pearsall's hurrying back. He's under it now in deep center. Makes the catch. He had to go to the edge of the warning path and straight away deep center to get that one hit by Brock. This Brock will fool you. He's got some real sock. He hit one in the center field bleachers last year. until he hit his. Only in the history of the Polo Grounds had Joe Adcock hit one up there in the center field bleachers. Later in the year, Henry Aaron was to duplicate the feat. 2 outs and nobody on. Now in the 6th, here's Hubbs of the Cubs. Outside and low, it's ball 1. Those young collegians parading in the upper deck with a big bass drum, and the banners are walking more than if they played 18 holes of golf. Low, ball 2, 2-0 now on Kenny Hubbs. College crowds have really been turning out for the games of the New York Mets. And they have been lending a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of vocal support. Now Hook behind on the count. The 2-0 pitch, a slow grounder down to third. Keneal is up with it. He pegs on to first, and the side is out once again. For the 5th straight inning, Jay Hook mows him down 1-2-3. He has retired 17 straight. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on. And now at the end of 5.5 innings to score, the Cubs won and the Mets won. Well, you know, baseball's a funny game in many respects. You see some fellows come along, and they'll just kind of zoom to the top, and then suddenly they're back in the minors. I guess that's true of a lot of things. Take beer, for example. It's like baseball in that to stay on top, you've really got to have it. And I guess you'll agree that Rheingold has really got it. It's been New York's favorite beer for many, many years. And Rheingold's amazing popularity can be explained by 2 little words: extra dry. Rheingold brews the long, slow, costlier way, so you get a dividend in taste. A taste that's brisk and bright and clean clear through. Yes, sir, Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. To find that out for yourself, enjoy a tall, refreshing glass of Rheingold right now. Join the millions who say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Now, Jay Hook is up against Glenn Hobby. The game tied 1-1, bottom half of the 6th inning. Lined hard in the air to left field. In front of it is Billy Williams. He has it. 1 down. This time of the day here in New York in the Polo Grounds, that sun in left field can be mighty tricky. 1 away and nobody on, so that brings up Jimmy Parasol at the top of the order. Jimmy has lined to center and flied to right. 0 for 2. Not once, but about 3 times since the Mets returned home, Jim has narrowly missed a home run by going to right field. Now Glenn Hobby into his windup. Now the pitch. Curve in the dirt all the way to the backstop. No damage done with nobody on. 1 away, we're in the home 6th inning. Next pitch by Hobby. Ball 2, it's 2-0. Jay Hook deserves to be pitching on a shutout. Cubs got their run in the first on a fly ball down the right field line that broke off Ronnie Hunt's glove, and when it came off his glove, it hit his shin and went about 30 feet into the corner for a triple. Now the 2-0 pitch. Curve is over. A strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Cubs feel they can match any team in the National League in starting pitching with their first 3 pitchers. They are hoping that Glenn Hobby can make it number 4. Swing and a miss, and the count even, 2-2. Dick Ellsworth, Larry Jackson, and Bob Buell. That trio has been pitching consistently good baseball for the Cubs. Hobby delivers 2-2. Pearsall lets it go. It's outside and low, ball 3. And we have a full count, 3-2. Base hits have been mighty scarce. New York, 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors. Chicago, 1 run, 1 hit, and no errors. Here's the payoff pitch. Ball 4, and Pearsall won. Hobby threw in a breaking ball on 3-2. Pearsall ducked away. Hobby thought he might have had him struck out. He came down off the mound to say something to Kenny Burkhardt. Hobby's control has really been something. That is the first walk he has given up. Say, wouldn't right now be a good time to pour yourself a glass of Rheingold Extra Dry? You bet it would. Open up or order up a Rheingold Extra Dry. It's beer as beer should taste. Now the crowd starts that go, go chant as Ron Hunt bats against Glenn Hobby. One out and one on. There goes Pearsall, swung on and fouled down the first base line. Pearsall and Hunt playing hit and run, and Ron fouls the ball off. Now Pearsall walks off to grab his lead at first. Ranul holding against him. Left down the infield. Bunts toward the middle looking for two with Hunt a right-hand batter up. Here's the pitch on the way. A pitch out, but nothing was on. Jim Schaefer had Hobby pitch out, but nothing was on. 1 ball and 1 strike. Game tied 1-1. Last half of inning number 6. Now Hobby makes the 1-second stop. Here's the pitch on the way. Another pitch out, a throw to first, not in time. Hobby's control has been so good that Jim Schaefer not hesitating to call for 2 pitch outs in a row. Count now 2 balls and a strike. Pitching 2-1. There goes Pearsall. A slow grounder hit down to third. A fair ball. Off balance throw. A great play by Sato. Racing to third goes Pearsall. They left home plate unprotected, but now Ranul breaks to come home. Oh, what a play by third baseman Ron Sato. That was a remarkable play. Ron Hunt made another one of those belly whoppers on a head-first slide into first. Real close play at first base. Sato came charging in. Came up with the ball right on the line, coming in at full speed, and he really had to make his throw from an off-balance position, and he made the throw accurately in time to Ranul to get Ron Hunt. Pearsall, who was running on the play, goes from first to third. That's one of the most remarkable defensive plays we've seen in a long time. That play made by Ron Sato, that he was able to throw Hunt out after coming up with that ball. And Ron Hunt, an all-out performer, made a belly whopper, a head-first slide, trying to get to first base ahead of the throw. Duke Snyder is up with 2 down and a runner on third. Duke hit a home run to tie this game his last time up. Here's the pitch on the way. Foul ball back upstairs, strike 1. That play on Ron Hunt was as close as your household budget. They barely got him. Now Pearsall leading down the line from third. Big crowd alive now. Hobby winding. The pitch to Snyder. Line drive in the air to center field. It might be a base hit. It is. In to score, Pearsall. Duke Snyder singles to center, and the Mets lead 2-1. Snyder has now driven in both New York runs, his 18th and 19th RBIs of the year. And the batter up is Frank Thomas. Landrum was playing Duke very deep in center field, and Duke hit one down toward the end of the bat. A line drive to short center for a clean hit to score the run. Now Hobby checks the runner at first. Thomas batting. Frank got a 2-out, 2-strike single to left his last time up. Fastball in the outside corner, strike 1 call. Mets 2 and the Cubs 1 in the last half of the 6th inning. Frank Thomas standing right on top of the plate. Pushes that bat through, waiting on Hobby. Now the pitch on the way. Foul ball. He hit a curve back up into the upper deck. Strike two. Duke Snyder now a single and a home run and 3 times up, and Duke has driven both of the New York runs in. Mets 2 and the Cubs 1. Thomas behind on the count, 2 strikes. In comes the pitch. Way outside, he wouldn't be tempted. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Only a superb play by third baseman Ron Santo has kept the Mets from doing even more so far here in the inning. Now the stretch by Hobby. The pitch to Thomas. A foul pop-up toward the backstop. No play for Jim Schaefer. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tim Harkness in the on-deck circle, hoping that Thomas can keep him a turn here in the last of the 6th inning. Next pitch on the way. Inside and low in the count, 2-2 on Frank. Harkness timing a couple of phantom swings in the on-deck circle. Thomas cocks the bat off the right shoulder. Count 2-2. In comes the pitch. Curve is lined and caught by Santo, the third baseman. He timed his swing just right on a hanging curveball and hit a hard line drive face high right at the third baseman, Santo. In the 6th inning, New York, 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and none left on. Now 6 innings complete and the score, the Mets 2 and the Cubs 1. Big cheer going up for Duke as he goes to right field. There'll be a lot of cheers going up here in the Polo Grounds on the 22nd of June when the New York Mets stage their 2nd annual Old Timers Day game. And to tell you more about it, Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Bob Murphy, it's going to be a big day here on June 22nd. Old Timers Day, and the regularly scheduled game will be that between the Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. Al Shack, the clown prince of baseball, pitcher for the Washington Senators and the coach for that club in the Boston Red Sox for many years, has accepted an invitation to participate here on the 22nd of June. The theme of the game, as you probably know by now, is to honor established major leaguers who were born or reared in the metropolitan area. Shack, of course, qualifies on all counts. He was born in the Bronx. He serves about where the bullpen in Yankee Stadium is now. He was in the American League for more than 20 years. He's now a successful businessman, although, as you know, he takes time out to travel around the country with his famous baseball comedy act, and he'll have it here at the Polo Grounds June 22nd. Johnny Murphy's going to be on hand. Hank Greenberg, Marius Russo, Buddy Hassett, Sal Evars, Monty Irvin, Tommy Holmes, Ralph Bracco. We'll be bringing you up to date from day to day because we're going to have a whole host of famous baseball players here on June 22nd, Old Timers Day. And we'd suggest you get your tickets right away. Going to the top of the 7th, and Billy Williams is coming up. Left-hand batter, Jay Hook. Winds and fires. Williams moves up as though the butt bluffs and takes the pitch high for ball 1. The Mets are out in front here by a score of 2-1. Jay Hook into the pitching motion. And it's fired low for a ball. It's 2-0. The Cubs scored first in the game when they got 1 run at the top of the first. The Mets got 1 in the bottom of the 4th on Snyder's home run and have gone ahead here in the bottom of the 6th. Here is a swing and a foul ball backing out of play. Into the upper deck behind the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike to Billy Williams.
Jay Hook delivers and the pitch is swung on. It's a ground ball towards second. Ron Hunt up with it, plays on over in time, and he's out. So before Ron Santo comes up, in order to allow our stations to identify themselves, we pause for station identification.
This is the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast, WGY Schenectady, a General Electric station. The time is now 6:30.
Bob Murphy at the Polo Grounds.
Ron Santo had a sacrifice fly to drive in a run in the top of the first, and he popped to short. Top of the fourth. In the first game, he had 5 for 6. Watches outside for ball 1. Jay Hook started, has come all the way for the New York Mets, looking in now to battery mate Norm Sherry for a sign. He has it. Here's the pitch. Swung on, has a high fly ball to left field. Fernandez is going out, Thomas is coming in, Pearsall is there, and Pearsall calls and takes it. So there are 2 men out with nobody on base as Jimmy Pearsall made the long run in. Called Fernandez off and made the catch. 2 away, and Ranul is coming up. Playing first base for the first time in his life in the major leagues. Fouled out to third and grounded out. Harkness to Hook covering on a fine play in the top of the fourth. Pitch to the left-hand batter. Low and away for ball 1. Merritt Renew was obtained by the Cubs from the Houston Colt 45s. Earlier this year, he had a fractured jaw that kept him out of action for a while. He has that bat cocked. Hook's pitch, swung on and missed. 1-1. 2 men out, nobody on base for the Cubs, with the Mets leading by a score of 2-1. Second game of a Memorial Day doubleheader. Cubs won the first game 12-0. Swinging a foul ball, it's out of play. Going on down into the lower deck, back at third. 1-2. Andre Rogers is on deck for the Cubs. They started the day in 4th place in the National League standings. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Let up, swung on, fouled off. Count holds at 1-2. Jay Hook takes a moment here. It's gone over to the rosin bag. Now turns to Getty's side and starts the motion. The 1-2 pitch is on the way, and it's swung on and missed. As he had Renew golfing at a low pitch. Strikeout number 5 for Jay Hook as he sets the side down in order. In the top of the 7th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. And at the end of 6.5 innings of play, it's the Mets 2, the Cubs 1. And now a word from Viceroy Cigarettes.
We're the Brothers Four with a story about our friend, Mr. Frog. Right now, we find that frog in the midst of a search for a new filter cigarette. He tried a Viceroy cigarette, I think I'm going to like it. He found they had the best taste yet, the taste that's right. After trying all 7 leading filter brands, Mr. Frog is now a Viceroy fan, Viceroy's got the taste that's right, You better believe it. Viceroy's got the taste that's right, Say you said that. They're not too strong and not too light, and you'll agree that Frog was right, They've got the taste that's right, Viceroy.
In the bottom half of the 7th inning, the New York Mets will be sending up Tim Harkness, who has been in a hot streak of late. In the first game, he had 3 hits and a walk for a perfect day at the plate. And this game, he has grounded out second to first and then flied out deep to center field. At 450 feet out there where he hit that one was taken by Landrum in the warning track. So he's up to lead off here in the bottom half of the 7th. Glenn Hobby, who started for the Cubs, still in the ballgame, starts the pitching motion. And it's low for ball 1. Harkness likes to stride and sort of kick himself into the pitch. Swings and fouls it back onto the screen. Jim Brewer and Don Elston are now throwing in the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs. And Jim Hickman is loosening up in the bullpen area of the New York Mets. That pitch is in there for a called strike. 1-2 now to Tim Harkness. Mets have a thin 1-run lead, 2-1.
swing and a miss. Struck him out. Strikeout number 3 for Hobby. One away, nobody on, and shortstop Chico Fernandez is coming up. He struck out swinging, and he grounded out third to first. Dan Hobby looking in for his sign. The pitch, a little tight. It had Chico ducking out of there. Ball 1 is the count. Rod Keneal now on deck for the Mets. Again, Hobby starts the easy motion. And the pitch is in there for a called strike. It's 1-1. The lights are on here at the Polo Ground. We have had a beautiful day for a holiday doubleheader. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on. Fouled off. It's 1-2. Pitch is way down low. Fernandez got a little piece of it. Chopped it right off the plate, actually. 1-2. Mets will be here tomorrow night with the Pirates. Saturday afternoon with the Pirates, and a doubleheader on Sunday. The 1-2 pitch. Outside for ball. It's 2-2. Fernandez in and waiting. The first game, shortstop Al Moran fouled the ball off his ankle and was in some pain, but an x-ray has been taken, and it's negative. Here's 2-2 pitch. Swung on, full foul on the ground, down past Cookie Lavagetto, the coach at third. The count holds at 2-2. Monday night, of course, the Mets will be across the river, Yankee Stadium. Take on the New York Yankees in the Mayor's Trophy game. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, foul back. He's still alive with a count of 2-2. That game Monday night, I think, is going to be interesting for a lot of reasons. And I hope you'll make your plans to be on hand. Tickets, of course, are on sale right now and have been for some time, but still a lot of very excellent seats available. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Swung on, fouled off. 2-2. Fernandez wants umpire Ken Burkhardt to look at the ball, so Hobby thumps it up there to him. He leaves it in play. Burkhardt firing it on back. Fernandez waits for the 2-2 offering. Checks it and takes high. It's out full now at 3-2. The New York Mets are leading the Chicago Cubs by a score of 2-1, and this the second game of a doubleheader. Glenn Hobby with a payoff pitch. Swung on and popped toward second. Retreating his hubs, he's on the outfield grass and he makes the catch. 2 away as Fernandez has popped to second, and that brings up Rod Keneal, the third baseman. He has grounded out short to first, and he has popped out to first base. The Mets' first run in this game came in the bottom of the fourth on a home run by Duke Snider, and the second run came in the sixth inning when Pearsall walked. Went to third on an infield out by Ron Hunt and was scored by Snider on a single to center. Here's a pitch high and away for a ball. Rod Keneal swinging the bat. Pitch is low for a ball. Rod Keneal is using a pair of bright yellow Krytalk glasses that he and Frank Thomas and several more batters experimented with last year. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Got him backing out of there, breaking ball inside. It's 3-0. So Hobby set for the 3-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. Keneal was taking all the way. It's 3-1. 2 out, nobody on base for the Mets batting in the bottom half of the 7th inning. At the end of this inning, we'll bring you up to date on scores of all the other games in the major leagues. Been a lot of action this holiday. Swing and a drive to left. Going to be off the wall for Rod Keneal, fielded by Williams. Keneal's on his way to second to throw. Keneal sliding in, grabs the bag, and is safe with a hook slide to the inside. A double for the hot rod, and he's on at second with 2 men out. That'll bring up Norm Sherry, the catcher. Time call as Keneal gets up and brings his helmet over to Coach Salihemus as well as the glasses. He doesn't want to wear the yellow glasses, so Salihemus puts them on. So he'll try the yellow glasses from the coach's box. He doesn't like that he can't see. He takes them off, puts them in his pocket. Norm Sherry stepping into the batter's box. Right-hand batter. Had a ground single in the 3rd inning. Flied to right in the 5th. Keneal leads off the bag at second. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. It's strike 1. Still double-barrel action in the bullpen of the Cubs. Norm Sherry waiting as Hobby checks and pitches. Flies the fastball tight. It's 1-1. Jay Hook with the jacket on pitching arm is kneeling on deck. Hobby has his sign now. He's up and set. Keneal leads at second. The pitch to Sherry. Breaking ball. Misses outside. It's 2-1. Sherry outside the batter's box. Settling himself back in now. Mets lead in this game by a score of 2-1. Hobby takes a look at Keneal. There's a stationary lead. Now he lengthens it a little bit. Pitch is swung out and missed. It's 2-2 to Norm Sherry. The Mets have a 1-run lead, but they'd like to get Keneal in and lengthen that lead a little bit if they possibly can, because 1 run is a thin enough lead anytime, anywhere. And it is especially thin at the Polo Grounds where home runs can come in an instant. Ask Ralph Branca. Sherry in and waiting. Here's a pitch. Swung on. It's a fly ball to center. Don Landrum has it lined up. He's there. Pounds the glove and makes the catch. So in the bottom of the 7th, the Mets got no runs on 1 hit, no Cub errors, and 1 Met left. And at the end of 7, the totals are the Mets 2 runs on 5 hits and no errors. The Cubs 1 run on 1 hit and no errors. Now let's take a look at scores all around the major leagues this holiday. The National League in the first game of the doubleheader, the Pirates defeated the Phils 7-1 as Cardwell beat Mahaffey. They're playing in the 9th inning of the 2nd game with the Phils leading by a score of 6-5. Ray Cup started for the Phils, Clipstein in the 6th, Gibbons started for Pittsburgh, Sisk in the 5th, Haddix in the 7th, McBean in the 7th, Covington Homered in the 5th with 1 on. Keep in mind the Pirates will be in here tomorrow night and again on Saturday and a doubleheader on Sunday. Milwaukee Braves defeated the Dodgers today 7-4. Warren Spahn the winner. That's number 334 for Spahn in his career. He sets a record every time he wins a ball game. He's won 7 this year and lost 3. Don Drysdale was the loser. Henry Aaron hit his 15th home run of the year for the Milwaukee Braves, and Jim Gilliam homered for the Dodgers. The Cardinals beat the Colt 45s 9-5. Sadecki the winner for St. Louis, and Dick Farrell was the loser for Houston. Stan Musial homered in the 3rd with 2 on, number 8 this season, number 471 in his career. The Giants play the Reds in Cincinnati tonight. The American League, the Yankees beat the Red Sox in 10 innings, 6-5. Ralph Terry all the way for the win. He's won 6 and lost 4. Early took the loss. Maris homered for the Yanks. Stewart homered, and Brissou hit 2 for the Boston Red Sox. The Kansas City Athletics beat the Orioles 7-2. Rocco the winner, Steve Barber the loser. Ed Charles homered in the 6th with 1 on. First game of doubleheader, the White Sox beat the Cleveland Indians 8-4. Fisher the winner, Walker the loser. The second game is scoreless through 3 innings. Latman against Peters. In a game that started at 11 o'clock this morning, Minnesota time, the Twins defeated the Washington Senators 3-2. Pasquale the winner, Cheney the loser. Bob Allison homered in the second with nobody on. And at the end of 7 innings, the Detroit Tigers lead the Los Angeles Angels 1-0. And now at least 2-0 as Gus Triandos is homered in the 8th with nobody on. Hanky Gary pitching for Detroit. Turley started for the Angels. Lee in the 7th. Mel Nelson in the 7th. And Art Fowler in the 8th. Right here, we're going to the top half of the 8th, and Andre Rogers is up to lead off for the Chicago Cubs. He's a right-hand batter who has grounded out third to first and struck out swinging. Jay Hook starts the motion, and here's the pitch. In there for a called strike. The Cubs got their 1 run in the top of the first when with 1 out, Ken Hubbs hit a little pop down the right field line. Second baseman Hunt came over. Here's a pitch low. Hunt got to the ball just about at the line, could not control it, and played it on over into the corner. And before he could retrieve, thinking it was a foul ball, Ken Hubbs had pulled up at third. It was scored as a triple. Here's a 1-1 pitch, swung on, foul back. It's 1-2. And then Ken Hubbs was scored from third on a sacrifice fly to center by Ron Santo. That has accounted for all the Cubs scoring in this ball game. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Rogers. Swung on, and there's a fly ball deep to left. Going back is Jim Hickman, and Hickman makes the catch, having just come into the game in place of Frank Thomas. So Rogers flies out to Jim Hickman in left field. Hickman put out there in place of Thomas as a defensive move by manager Casey Stengel. This is Don Landrum, a left-hand batter, coming up. He has flied to left and grounded out to first base unassisted. Now Bob Will is swinging bats on deck for the Chicago Cubs. Pitch to Landrum. It's in there for a called strike. Catcher Jim Schaefer drew up next, but Bob Will swinging the bat. Here's a swing and a ground ball up the middle. Backhanded by Hunt. He'll have no play, but it did not go through. As Hunt dived for the ball, got it in the glove. It is a base hit. The first hit that the Cubs have had off Jay Hook since the first inning. He had retired 21 consecutive batters in the interim, but it is a base hit for Don Landrum. Second baseman Ron Hunt went over, dived, gloved it securely, and then landed on his chest. It had no play. Here's Bob Will batting for catcher Jim Schaefer.
Number 28, Bob Will. Number 28.
Bob Will is used primarily as a pinch hitter by the Chicago Cubs. He has been up 18 times this year and has 2 hits. And Dick Bertel is out on deck now, swinging bats for the Chicago Cubs. Don Elston, the right-hander, is throwing in the bullpen for the Cubs. Here is the pitch to Will. It swung on and fouled back onto the screen and out of play. And Roger Craig is up and moving around in the bullpen for the New York Mets. The Mets lead here by a score of 2-1. The Cubs have a runner at first representing potential tying run. There's 1 man out. Here is a throw over, a leisurely throw. Not in time. Now the pitch to Will. This is outside. It's 1-1. Now Ernie Banks is at the bat rack for the Chicago Cubs. Ernie Banks is over in the corner, getting a bat. He came in here, flew into New York from Chicago between games of the doubleheader, has not appeared in either game today. Bertel is being called back. Here's the pitch high. 2-1. So the strategy wheels are turning here. The Mets call time. Sherry walks out toward the mound. Rod Kenneal walks over from third base. Roger Craig now up and throwing in the bullpen of the Mets. Bob Will's a left-hand batter. Count to him 2 balls and 1 strike. Don Landrum leads off the bag at first. Has excellent speed. Pitch is swung on, foul back into the upper deck behind the plate, out of play. It's 2-2. pitcher Glenn Hobby scheduled up next. The man in the on-deck circle right now is leadoff man Lou Brock. As Coach Bob Kennedy is not going to tip his hand yet. Here's the pitch low, blocked by Sherry. 3-2. Full count to pinch hitter Will. Coach Fredland Walker looking into the dugout to see what manager Bob Kennedy wants him to put on here with one man out. Landrum at first. Jay Hook takes off the glove to rub up the ball, and Landrum goes back to the bag at first. Mets 2, the Cubs 1. Top half of the 8th inning. Landrum leads at first. Throw over. Not in time. He gets back. Jay Hook would like to keep a short halter on him if possible. He's running as a swing and a foul ball backing out of play. So they had Landrum going on 3-2, one man out. Landrum checks with Coach Lou Klein at first base. Jay Hook is up and set now. Landrum's running again. Pitch is swung on and fouled off. Count holds full at 3-2, and that'll bring Landrum back again. Lou Klein at first base, the coach, is wearing the helmet discarded by base runner Landrum. Looks a great deal like a hat salesman just starting out to make his round. Landrum leads. Running again, and the pitch is outside. He walks, and so there's no play on Landrum. He stopped about halfway down, but the pitch is the ball, and there's no play on him. He goes to second. Will has walked, giving the Cubs runners at first and second with one man out, and let's see now who we got to get. It's Ernie Banks. Bob Kennedy stopped to talk to him, and here comes Ernie Banks out of the dugout to bat for Glenn Hobby. He'll be announced. His wife underwent an emergency operation in Chicago, and he was there yesterday after having played here the night before and stayed overnight and then flew in here this afternoon.
Number 14, Ernie Banks.
Ernie Banks was voted most valuable player in the National League on consecutive years. Ever dangerous. He has 8 home runs this year and 22 runs batting in. His batting average is .203. Runners lead at first and second. Jay Hook steps off the rubber, bluffs, and makes no throw. Looked at second, looked at first, no one covering. Now Hook sets again with the pitch to Ernie Banks. It's in there for a called strike one. One man out. The Phils defeated the Pirates 6-5 in the second game of their doubleheader, as Ray Culp was the winner and Joe Gibbon was the loser. So the Phils and the Pirates split their doubleheader today. Jay Hook checks and deals to Banks, and it's in there for a call, strike 2. Ernie Banks steps back to a handful of dirt, and Norm Sherry calls time now and heads to the mound to hold a conference with Jay Hook. All the action of this Memorial Day is over in the National League with the exception of this game. There is no other National League action going as the Phils and the Pirates split their doubleheader. The Braves beat the Dodgers and the Cardinals beat the Houston Colt 45s. Tonight the Giants play the Cincinnati Reds. Roger Craig still is throwing in the bullpen for the Mets, and he has been joined now by left-hander Ken McKenzie. Ernie Banks standing in with a 2-strike count. Don Landrum, the base runner at second. Bob Will, the base runner at first. Hook steps off the rubber now as Ron Hutt circled around over behind the bag at second, and Hook stepped off the rubber to give Hutt time to get back into position. Ernie Banks waits with a 2-strike count. The pitch is high for ball. He had back, way back out of there, but time had not been called by Burkhart. And now he is talking to Ernie Banks. And he had made no sign, and he indicates now it is a ball, and Chris Pellicudis was asking also as Hook had asked him, and it is ball 1 and strike 2. Banks had backed out, actually, but no time had been called. Now runners lead again at first and second. This pitch is fired just a little low, and Hook thinks he should have got a call. On the glove. 2-2, the count to Ernie Banks. Jimmy Pearsall in center field, lined up behind second, also protesting from way out there. Of course, it was a big pitch there, because now the count is out to 2-2 on Ernie Banks with runners at first and second. That runner at second represents potential tying run. Now the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Struck him out. Jay Hook got pinch hitter Ernie Banks swinging for his 6th strikeout of this game, and Lou Brock is coming up. Brock has been up 3 times. He popped to short. He grounded out pitcher to first, and he flied to center. So Jay Hook is not out of the woods yet. Don Elston continues to throw in the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs as Glenn Hobby is now out of the ball game. Banks hit for him. Hook now is set, and here's the pitch to Brock. It's inside for ball. The Mets 2, the Cubs 1. With the Cubs batting in the top half of the 8th inning of the second game of this Memorial Day doubleheader. Hook is set. Pitch to the left-hand batter. In there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Lou Brock swings the bat as he waits. 2 men out. Cal Kuntz now warming in the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs. His pitch is high. It's a breaking ball, and Brock almost wet. He was just holding up barely. It's 2-1. Young Cal Kuntz is the man throwing the bullpen now for the Chicago Cubs. Jay Hook has gone behind to Lou Brock. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now he comes down off the mound to pick up a piece of paper that is distracting him there and puts it in his hip pocket. Hook looks in to get his sign. He has it. Runners lead at first and second. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on, and it's looped towards second, and Hutt picks it up and throws on in time. He got it on the short hop and played it on over to first, and Chris Pellicudis, the umpire, indicated that it was not an out at that point because he didn't get it on the fly. He short hopped it and then played it on over in time to get blocked. So in the top of the 8th, the Cubs got no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left, and at the end of 7.5 innings of play, it's the Mets 2, the Cubs 1.
My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Think of Rheingold whenever you buy beer. It's not bitter, not sweet, it's the dry flavor treat. Won't you try extra dry Rheingold beer?
And now you can enjoy famous Rheingold Extra Dry in the new Chug-a-Mug. It's the first and only beer container with a wide mouth and a top that's so easy to open. Just pull the tab on top straight out, then straight up and off. You drink right from the Chug-a-Mug. No glasses, no opener, no deposits, no fooling. Chug-a-Mug holds the same and costs the same as the 12-ounce can. Buy it now wherever famous Rheingold Extra Dry is sold.
My beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Chug-a-Mug.
change now for the Chicago Cubs. Don Elston, a right-hander, has come in to pitch, and Dick Bertell is catching. As the Mets come up in the bottom half of the 8th inning, Elston is making his 15th game appearance. He has won 2 and lost none. He has pitched 18 and 2/3 innings, in which he has allowed only 2 runs, only 10 hits. His earned run average 0.47. The pitch to Jay Hook is in there for a called strike. Don Elston again starts the big motion. Pitch to the left-hand batter. Sails high for a ball. It's 1-1. Elston has struck out 15 and walked only 6 in his relief appearances this year. Cal Kuntz continues to throw in the Cub bullpen. That pitch is in there for a called strike. It's 1-2. Pitch is swung on. It's a ground ball toward third. Ron Santo is up with it. Throws on to first in time for the out. It'll be Pearsall coming up before he does in order to allow our stations to identify themselves. We pause for station identification.
This is the voice of the Mets in the great Northeast, WGY Schenectady, the smoothest sound around. The time, 4 minutes past 7.
At the Polo Grounds in New York, Jimmy Pearsall started up, got almost to the plate, turns and comes back to the on-deck circle to get the rosin bag. Swings another bat as he comes on up. Pearsall in this game has lined to center. He has flied to right, and he walked and later scored in the bottom half of the 6th. The Mets are leading by a score of 2-1. Don Elston into the motion. And it misses outside for a ball as Pearsall bluffed. As a matter of fact, umpire Ken Burkhardt almost bluffed. It's a ball. Fired low, it's 2-0. Mets got their first run of this game in the bottom of the 4th on a home run lined into the lower deck in right by Duke Snyder. Snyder knocked in the second run, scored Pearsall from third base. After Elston started to pump, Pearsall backed out of the batter's box. And Ken Burkhardt talks to him about that. Elston had started to pump when Pearsall backed out, and now Ken Burkhardt had a word to say to him about that, and Pearsall is just engaging in a conversation. They aren't arguing about it at the moment. Elston again getting the sign. And now the 2-0 pitch. Low, it's 3-0. One man out, nobody on base for the Mets batting in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Ron Hunt is kneeling in the on-deck circle. This is a 3-0 pitch. And it's taken high, ball 4. He walked it. That's the second time Pearsall has walked in this game. Brings up Ron Hunt with one away. They played a little hit and run on the first pitch under similar circumstances in the bottom half of the 8th. Or the bottom half of the 6th. So let's see how they play it here. Finally, Hunt hit a little dribbler down to third, and Pearsall went all the way to third on it. This time he squares to bunt, and the pitch is outside for a ball. Duke Snyder's on deck for the Mets. Hunt's looking down to Cookie Lavagetta to see what exactly Casey Stengel wants in this circumstance. Pearsall leads at first. Here's a throw over. It's not in time. Merritt Renew, the first baseman there. The Mets lead 2-1. Don Elston is up and set. Squares to bunt again and takes the pitch. And Ken Burkhardt says it's a ball, 2-0. catcher, Dick Bertel, was inquiring whether or not he actually tried to bunt the ball, and Ken Burkhardt indicates no, he pulled the bat back. So it is a ball. 2-0. So twice the sacrifice has been on here. Wasn't on in. It's a called strike. Fastball in there. 2-1. Lindy McDaniel has joined Cal Kuntz now, throwing in the bullpen. Kuntz is just about finished up. He's putting his jacket on at this moment. The count is 2 balls, 1 strike to Hunt as Pearsall leads. Goes back to the bag at first. Throw over again. Trying to keep Pearsall close to the bag. Hunt's out of the batter's box at the moment. Now he comes in. Elston is up and set. He squared the bunt. The pitch is low. Pops out of the glove of Bertel. He recovers. No advance. Runs the count to 3 balls and 1 strike. So again, after laying off on one pitch, Casey had the sacrifice on again. Let's see what he does here. 3 balls, 1 strike. Manages to light as far as the hit and run count is concerned. Here's a throw over. Pearsall goes back to the bag at first. He's running, swinging a ground ball to the right side. It is taken by Hunt. He'll have to go to first, and he does in time. Had the hit and run on 3-1, and Hunt is grounded out. It moved Pearsall to second, and Snyder's coming up. So you see, with the hit and run, the very same thing is achieved that would have been achieved had the sacrifice worked. But Hunt is charged with the time at bat. Say there's no time like the present. What better way to use it than to pour yourself a tall, cold glass of Rheingold Extra Dry? You know, Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Dry tells you why. Snyder is being intentionally walked. Snyder is being walked intentionally. It's ball 1. Here's ball 2. Jim Hickman is on deck. Here is ball 3. And here is ball 4. Snyder goes to first with an intentional walk. Jim Hickman has now been called back, but comes out of the dugout again, heads on up. Just called back for a little advice, that's all. With first base open, Snyder having knocked in both the runs the Mets have in this ball game. Head coach Bob Kennedy of the Cubs ordered him past. This is Hickman's first time up in this game. He's a right-hand batter. Don Elston, a right-hand pitcher. Delivers, and it's low for a ball. The Detroit Tigers have shut out the Los Angeles Angels 3-0. Hank Gary is the winner. He's 4-4 now, and Bob Turley was the loser. He's 1-4. Time is called. Dick Bertel goes out to check with Don Elston. The Mets lead in this game by a score of 2-1, and they're batting in the bottom half of the 8th inning. If you'd like to look ahead to the top of the 9th, the Cubs are scheduled to send up Kenny Hubbs, Billy Williams, and Ron Santo, the heart of the power. The number 2, 3, and 4 men in the batting order. Swing and a miss. 1-1. That pitch is outside for ball. It's 2-1. Two men out, 2 men on for the Mets. Elston is up and set. Pitch is outside to throw down to first, and Snyder slides back in safely. There's Ranul, the first baseman. 3 balls, 1 strike now to Hickman. Bob Kennedy getting on the phone down in the dugout of the Chicago Cubs. Here's a swing and a foul ball backing out of play. That's his phone to the bullpen. The count is run full now, 3-2 to Hickman with 2 men out. The runners will be going. Pearsall at second and Snyder at first. Left-hander Jim Brewer is up and throwing along with right-hander Lindy McDaniel, who sits down now in the bullpen of the Cubs. Hickman is waiting for a 3-2 pitch. Elston is up and set. The runners go, and the pitch is swung on. There's a fly ball to left center field. Landrum is over, and so is Williams. Landrum calls, pounds his glove, and makes the catch. So Hickman is flied to center, and in the bottom of the 8th, the Mets got no runs on no hits, no errors, 2 walks, and 2 men left. And at the end of 8, it's the Mets 2, the Cubs 1. Well, if you follow the New York Mets day by day, week after week, as so many fans around the New York area do, you can do it better with a copy of the Mets yearbook. The first edition was sold out completely, and the second edition is now available. It's a revised edition with a lot of information that wasn't in the first one. For instance, biographies of Duke Snyder, Ed Kranepool, Ron Hunt, Carl Willey. It's a 4-color book. Mr. Mets on the front cover, 100 pictures inside, and a page of autographs. Many special articles, stories about Casey Stengel, the coaches, Shea Stadium, Stadiorama scoreboard, and many other features. If you'd like a copy of the 1963 Met Revised Yearbook, send 50 cents to Met Yearbook, Polo Grounds, New York, 39, New York. The Mets, of course, Monday night will be over at Yankee Stadium to take on the Yankees in the Mayor's Trophy game. That's the game played for the benefit of Sandlot Baseball in New York City. Tickets are now on sale at all Met ticket outlets, or you can get your tickets by mail. The address is Ticket Manager, Polo Grounds, New York, 39, New York. We're going to the top of the 9th. The New York Mets, with Jay Hook on the mound, keep the bullpen ready with double-barrel action. Left-hander Ken McKenzie, right-hander Roger Craig.
It'll be Ken Hubbs coming up to lead off for the Chicago Cubs. He had a home run in the first game here this afternoon. He had a triple, what was scored as a triple, and scored the only run that the Cubs have in this game, and that occurred in the first inning. Barney Schultz, the knuckleballer, is now up and throwing in the bullpen for the Cubs. Jay Hook set to deliver, and it's in there for a called strike. Top half of the 9th inning. Hubbs has triple, flied to center, and grounded out third to first. His batting average is .281. Swings and fouls it off. Right down to Verlin Walker, coaching at third. Swung on a breaking ball. It's a 2-strike count. The Cubs won the first game of today's doubleheader here by a score of 12-0. The Mets are leading in this one by a score of 2-1. Hook's pitch is outside for ball. It's 1-2. The Mets have an outfield defense of Jim Hickman in left, Jim Pearsall in center, and Duke Snyder in right. This pitch is swung out and struck him out. Strikeout number 7 for Jay Hook. 1 away, nobody on for the Cubs. Top half of the 9th, and Billy Williams is coming up. He has walked, grounded out to Tim Harkness, making the play over to Hook covering, and grounded out second to first. Billy Williams has a batting average of .280. Jay Hook with the easy motion. Fires it in for a called strike 1. Fastball. Again, Hook is set. Tries the breaking ball outside. 1-1. Memorial Day crowd of 37,170 paid here this afternoon. A fine turnout. Swinging a ground ball towards first. Hook will have to go to the bag as Harkness makes the play over to Hook in time. He's out. Harkness went for the ball. Hook went for the bag, and they pulled it off. 2 away, nobody on. Ron Santo batting cleanup in the batting order for the Cubs. He's coming up now with 2 men out and nobody on base. He had a sacrifice fly to center to drive in the Cub run in the first. He popped to short in the 4th inning and flied to center in the 7th. In the first game here today, he struck out the first time up and then got 5 straight base hits to go 5 for 6. Jay Hook with the pitch, and it's high for a ball. 2 men out, nobody on base. Hook touches his fingertips to the rosin bag. Now up on the rubber looking in to get the sign from Norm Sherry. Here's the pitch. Swung on and popped up to the infield at shortstop. Fernandez calls. He waits on the infield grass. The game is over. The New York Mets have defeated the Cubs. Jay Hook with a fine pitching performance. A two-hitter hurled here by Jay Hook. He's all smiles as he turns and comes over. Casey Stengel goes all the way out to shake his hand because Jay Hook has been having his troubles of late. Tommy Hemus comes over to shake his hand. So does Lynn Lisher, the assistant trainer. Jay Hook with a tremendous performance here at the Polo Grounds as he limited the Cubs to 1 run, and they got that on a pop down the right field line in the first inning that went for a triple, and then Santo had a sacrifice fly to bring in that run. Well, the Pirates will be here tomorrow night. They'll be here Saturday afternoon and a doubleheader Sunday. Tickets are now on sale for the Pirates series and for future games of the New York Mets. We'll be back in a moment with a final summary and totals here, but right now the final score once again, the Mets 2, the Cubs 1. Well, you know, what was true in 1910 was true in 1940, and it's true today, too. I'm talking about baseball players. The mark of a great ball player in 1910 is the same in 1963. A truly great player has that extra something. He's got the ability to come up with the big hit or to make that extra special catch. And it's that extra something that makes him great. And that's true with beer, too. Rheingold has that extra something that lifts it out of the ordinary. And it's on every label, extra dry. Yes, those 2 words tell you why Rheingold is beer as beer should taste. Tell you why Rheingold is a truly great beer. Rheingold Extra Dry has a flavor that's brisk and bright and clean, clear through. It's everything you want in beer. It quenches your thirst quicker. It's more refreshing. It's easy to enjoy. But you'll find that out for yourself. Next time, enjoy Rheingold Extra Dry. See why millions say, my beer is Rheingold, the dry beer. Well, the New York Mets and the Chicago Cubs have split a doubleheader here at the Polo Grounds as the Cubs won the first game by a score of 12-0, and they did it by scoring 10 big runs in the top half of the 4th inning. They got 8 of them off Al Jackson, who had started, and they got the other 2 off Larry Bernard, who came in to relieve him before Don Rowe finally came in to put out the fire. Larry Jackson went all the way to get the victory, the shutout win for the Chicago Cubs. Ron Santo had 5 for 6 in that first game. Kenny Hubbs had the only home run, and for the Mets, Tim Harkness had 3 hits, 3 for 3 and a walk to bear the brunt of the attack for the New York Mets. The second game was something else again as Jay Hook got his first start since the opening game of the San Francisco series on the recent road trip. After that, manager Casey Stengel relegated him to the bullpen to try to get him straightened out. And apparently he did because Jay Hook came on here today in the top half of the first inning with 1 out. Ken Hubbs popped the ball down back at first base. Ron Hutt coming over to play the ball near the line, got a glove on it, couldn't handle it, and played it on over into the corner. He thought it was foul all the time, did not hustle to retrieve it. And by the time he got the ball, Ken Hubbs was at third base. Then after Billy Williams walked, Ron Santo went out on a sacrifice fly to center with Hubbs tagging up, scoring after the catch. The Cubs were out in front, 1-0. But after that, Jay Hook retired 21 consecutive batters until Don Landrum was on with an infield hit in the top of the 8th inning. It was a clean base hit, fielded cleanly by Hunt, who had no play on the ball. He kept it from going through. And then Bob Will batted for Schaefer and walked, but Hunt pitched himself out by striking out pinch hitter Ernie Banks and getting Lou Brock to ground out. Then he retired the side in order in the top of the 9th. So it's Jay Hook's victory along with Duke Snyder, because the Duke hit a home run in the bottom of the 4th to tie the score at 1-1. Then Pearsall walked in the 6th. He went from 1st to 3rd on an infield out by Ron Hunt, and then was scored on a clean single to center by Duke Snyder. So Snyder, with 2 for 3 and a walk in the second game, drove in both the Met runs. Here are the final totals in the second game. The Mets 2 runs on 5 hits and no errors, 5 men left. The Cubs 1 run, only 2 hits, no errors, and 3 men left. The winner is Jay Hook, of course, and the loser is Glenn Hobby. So the Mets and the Cubs split their Memorial Day doubleheader here at the Polo Grounds before 37,170 paid. And that's just about the story of what happened here this afternoon. This broadcast came to you through the courtesy of Liebman Breweries, Brooklyn, New York, brewers since 1837, and the Brown & Williamson Tobacco Corporation. B&W, the mark of quality in tobacco products. This broadcast authorized under radio rights granted for the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Right now, I'd like to remind you to enjoy Viceroy cigarettes. In familiar soft packer, new slide top case, Viceroy's got the taste that's right. Now, this is Lindsey Nelson saying so long for Bob Murphy, Ralph Kiner, our engineer Joe Burnham, our statistician Matt Winnick, our producer Joe Gallagher, and for Rheingold Extra Dry. Those 2 little words, extra dry, tell you why Rheingold is beer should taste. Why Rheingold is preferred by more New Yorkers than any other beer. Rheingold is brewed from the very choicest ingredients, brewed the long, slow, costly way for flavor that is brisk and bright and clean clear through. So fill up your glass with a nice, cold, ice-cold, refreshing glass of good Rheingold Extra Dry. The Mets and the Cubs split the doubleheader. The Cubs win the first game 12-0. The Mets win the second 2-1 on a 2-hitter by Jay Hook. So long, everybody. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.